Namaste, Dandavat Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 7, The Sacrifice Performed by Dakṣa. Text 1. Maitreya Uvacha Ityajnanu itena bhavena paritusyata abhyadhai mahabaho prahasya shruyatamiti. The sage Maitreya said, O mighty armed Vidura, Lord Shiva, being thus pacified by the words of Lord Brahma, spoke as follows in answer to Lord Brahma's request. Text 2. Mahadevu vacha nagam prajesha bhalanam varnaye nanuchintaye deva maya vibhutanam dandastatra dritomaya. Lord Shiva said, My dear Father Brahma, I do not mind the offenses created by the demigods. Because these demigods are childish and less intelligent, I do not take a serious view of their offenses, and I have punished them only in order to right them. Purport. There are two types of punishment. One is that which a conqueror imposes on an enemy, and the other is like that a father imposes on his son. There is a gulf of difference between these two kinds of punishment. Lord Shiva is by nature a Vaishnava, a great devotee, and his name in this connection is Asutosha. He is always satisfied, and therefore he did not become angry as if he were an enemy. He is not inimical to any living entity. Rather, he always wishes the welfare of all. Whenever he chastises a person, it is just like a father's punishment of his son. Lord Shiva is like a father because he never takes seriously any offense by any living entities, especially the demigods. Text 3. Prajapater dagdha sirshno vatvaja mukham shiraha mitrasya chakshu shiksheta bhagam svam varhi sobhaga. Lord Shiva continued, since the head of Dakṣa has already been burned to ashes, he will have the head of a goat. The demigod known as Bhaga will be able to see his share of the sacrifice through the eyes of Mitra. Text 4. Pushatu yajamanasya dadbhir jakshatu pishtabuk deva prakrita sarvanga yema uche sanam dadu. The demigod Pusha will be able to chew only through the teeth of his disciples, and if alone, he will have to satisfy himself by eating dough made from chickpea flour. But the demigods who have agreed to give me my share of the sacrifice will recover from all their injuries. Purport. The demigod Pusha became dependent on his disciples for chewing. Otherwise, he was allowed to swallow only dough made of chickpea flour. Thus his punishment continued. He could not use his teeth for eating, since he had laughed at Lord Shiva, deriding him by showing his teeth. In other words, it was not appropriate for him to have teeth, for he had used them against Lord Shiva. Text 5. Bahubhyam ashvinhu pushno hastabhyam krita bhavaha bhavantvadvaryavaschanye bastasmasrur brigur bhavet. Those who have had their arms cut off will have to work with the arms of Ashvini Kumar. and those whose hands were cut off will have to do their work with the hands of Pusha. The priests will all also have to act in that manner. As for Brigu, he will have the beard from the goat's head. Purport. Brigu Muni, a great supporter of Dakṣa, was awarded the beard of the goat's head, which was substituted for the head of Dakṣa. It appears from the exchange of Dakṣa's head that the modern scientific theory that the brain substance is the cause of all intelligent work is not valid. The brain substance of Dakṣa and that of a goat are different, but Dakṣa still acted like himself, even though his head was replaced by that of a goat. The conclusion is that it is the particular consciousness of an individual soul which acts. The brain substance is only an instrument which has nothing to do with real intelligence. The real intelligence, mind, and consciousness are part of the particular individual soul. It will be found in the verses ahead that after Dakṣa's head was replaced by the goat's head, he was as intelligent as he had previously been. He prayed very nicely to satisfy Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, which is not possible for a goat to do. Therefore, it is definitely concluded that the brain substance is not the center of intelligence. It is the consciousness of a particular soul that works intelligently. The whole movement of Krishna consciousness is to purify the consciousness. It doesn't matter what kind of brain one has, because if he simply transfers his consciousness from matter to Krishna, his life becomes successful. It is confirmed by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita that anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness achieves the highest perfection of life, regardless of whatever abominable condition of life he may have fallen into. Specifically, anyone in Krishna consciousness goes back to Godhead, back to home, on leaving his present material body. Text 6. Maitreya uvacha tada sarvani bhutani shrutva midhushtam hoditam paritushtam abhistata sadhu sadviti atabruvan. The great sage Maitreya said, "My dear Vidura, all the personalities present were very much satisfied in heart and soul upon hearing the words of Lord Shiva, who is the best among the benedictors." Purport. In this verse, Lord Shiva is described as Midhushtama, the best of the benedictors. He is also known as Ashutosha, which indicates that he is very quickly satisfied and very quickly angered. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that less intelligent persons go to the demigods for material benedictions. In this connection, people generally go to Lord Shiva, and because he is always satisfied and gives benedictions to his devotees without consideration, he is called Midhushtama, or the best of the benedictors. Materialistic persons are always anxious to get material profit, but they are not serious about spiritual profit. Sometimes, of course, it so happens that Lord Shiva becomes the best benedictor in spiritual life. It is said that once a poor Brahmana worshipped Lord Shiva for a benediction, and Lord Shiva advised the devotee to go see Sanatana Goswami. The devotee went to see Sanatana Goswami and informed him that Lord Shiva had advised him to seek out the best benediction from him, Sanatan. Sanatan had a touchstone with him which he kept in the garage, which he kept with the garbage. On the request of the poor Brahmana, Sanatana Goswami gave him the touchstone, and the Brahmana was very happy to have it. He now could get as much gold as he desired simply by touching the touchstone to iron. But after he left Sanatan, he thought, if a touchstone is the best benediction, why has Sanatana Goswami kept it with the garbage? He therefore returned and asked Sanatana Goswami, "Sir, if this is the best benediction, why did you keep it with the garbage?" Sanatana Goswami then informed him, "Actually, this is not the best benediction, but you are prepared to take the best benediction from me?" The Brahmana said, "Yes, sir. Lord Shiva has sent me to you for the best benediction." Then Sanatana Goswami asked him to throw the touchstone in the water nearby and then come back. The poor Brahmana did so, and when he returned, Sanatana Goswami initiated him with the Hare Krishna mantra. Thus, by the benediction of Lord Shiva, the Brahmana got the association of the best devotee of Lord Krishna, and was thus initiated in the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Text 7. Tato midvam sam amantra sunashira saharshibi bhuyastha devaya janam samidvad vedha soyayo. Thereafter Bhrigu, the chief of the great sages, invited Lord Shiva to come to the sacrificial arena. Thus the demigods, accompanied by the sages, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, all went to the place where the great sacrifice was being performed. Purport. The whole sacrifice, arranged by Dakṣa, had been disturbed by Lord Shiva. Therefore, all the demigods present there, along with Lord Brahma and the great sages, specifically requested Lord Shiva to come and revive the sacrificial fire. There is a common phrase, Shiva hina yagya. Any sacrifice without the presence of Lord Shiva is baffled. Lord Vishnu is Yageshvara, the Supreme Personality in the matter of sacrifice, yet in each yagya it is necessary for all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva to be present. Text 8. Vidhaya karchna yena chatad yadhaha bhagavan bhava sandadhu kasya kayena savaniya pasho shira. After everything was executed exactly as directed by Lord Shiva, Dakṣa's body was joined to the head of the animal meant to be killed in the sacrifice. Purport. This time, all the demigods and great sages were very careful not to irritate Lord Shiva. Therefore, whatever he asked was done. It is specifically said here that Dakṣa's body was joined to the head of an animal, a goat. Text 9. Sandhiyamhane shirasi Daksho rudra bivikshita sadhyashupto ivotasto tadrishe chagrato mridam. When the animal's head was fixed on the body of King Dakṣa, Dakṣa was immediately brought to consciousness, and he was awakened from sleep. The king saw Lord Shiva standing before him. Purport. The example given here is that Dakṣa got up as if he were awakened from deep sleep. In Sanskrit, this is called Shupta Ivotasto. Shupta Ivotasto. The meaning is that after a man awakens from sleep, he immediately remembers all the duties which he must execute. Dakṣa was killed and his head had been taken away and burned to ashes. His body was lying dead, but by the grace of Lord Shiva, as soon as the head of a goat was joined to the body, Dakṣa came back to consciousness again. This indicates that consciousness is also individual. Dakṣa actually took another body when he took on the head of a goat, but because of consciousness, the consciousness is individual, his consciousness remained the same, although his bodily condition changed. Thus, bodily condition, bodily construction, has nothing to do with the development of consciousness. Consciousness is carried with the transmigration of the soul. There are many instances of this in Vedic history, such as the case of Maharaj Bharat. After quitting his body as a king, Maharaj Bharat was transferred to the body of a deer, but he retained the same consciousness. He knew that although formerly he was King Bharata, he had been transferred to the body of a deer, however, because of his absorption in thinking of a deer at the time of death. In spite of his having the body of a deer, however, his consciousness was as good as it was in the body of King Bharata. The arrangement by the Lord is so nice that if a person's consciousness is turned into Krishna consciousness, there is no doubt that in his next life, he'll be a great devotee of Krishna, even if he is offered a different type of body. Thus ends our reading for today. We'll continue from text 10 on Monday. Jai and Vishnupad, Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Guru Dev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Our glories to the assembled devotees, our glories to the worldwide devotees, Sama Bhaktivedanta Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Navadvip Ki Jai, Nrsimhapali Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Balade Sripad Ju Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Mai Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai, Sham Kund Radhakund Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi, Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Scientific Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Institute Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari 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 Bol, Jai Shrimati Uma Devi Dasi Ki Jai.
Jai Guru. Sripad Krishna ke Prabhupada ki jai.
Anubhav Pranam Stiri, Hari Bol.